Okay, so this is my final review of the Titanic Survivors Book Club by Timothy Schafer. I did really like the cover of the book. The copy I bought was the paperback copy. The paper was fine, pretty thin, like nice sheets. I did mark this book quite a bit because there are so many pages of it that I did find the prose like very beautiful. I did like the way that the author related to the main character Yorick, as he was a bookstore owner, and just like how much Yorick loves books, and just truly loves like the art of literature. Um, I think it's just very cute, and I love how that was communicated at the beginning of this book. Um, this book also makes quite a few promises, like at the beginning of exploring concepts of destiny, of love, sexuality, or like the intersection of love and sexuality, like the different expressions of it. Um, like, and really asking like how much power do we have to overcome our fate? Like, what parts of our life are fated and what parts aren't? Like, uh, the three main characters meet because somebody calls the meeting of the Titanic Survivors Book Club, and um, that is essentially what binds them together, is that club. And Yorick's store also benefits quite a bit from this because Zinnia begins to help him, while they are like just friends. Throughout this, Hayes also needed a place to stay, and Yorick wasn't staying in the bookshop at that time. Like, he was renting a room in another building, and the bookshop had like a little area that had like a bed and stuff like that. So he allows Hayes to move in. Yorick, like from the first sight, is interested in Hayes and like really just wants to have like a relationship with him. He feels captivated. Like he really caught his attention. And Yorick is a gay man. Hayes is, I don't know, it kind of weird. Maybe like some sort of a queer like identity around there. I don't know. He and Yorick do have sex once, but like romantically or like more than like a friend, I don't think Hayes would ever see Yorick. Hayes is in love with Zinnia, and Hayes and Zinnia are actually in a relationship, or like getting into one. One of the things that bond Hayes and Yorick together is that Yorick pens letters to Zinnia posing as if he is Hayes. And yes, I am ruining this book a little bit. I'm not. No. Like, it's known to the audience that happens. So anyway, that's part of what binds Yorick and Hayes together, though, is that like Yorick is helping Hayes, but he's essentially writing these letters as if he's writing them to Hayes. Like, they are letters that are filled with true love and devotion and like true inquiry into the soul of another. And Zinnia is a reader, and so like they're sending her all these books and like saying like, I thought to send you this book because of the way it moved me, or like, something that I would consider deeply romantic if it happened to me, and something that I would be very disappointed to find out like I was essentially being manipulated into liking someone who isn't really that way. Like, Hayes is not well read like Yorick, and so there's just there's this love triangle that forms in that kind of way. Like, and so it does make the reader ask a lot of questions about love. And the question that I asked the most was, is this really love, or like is this like a bastardized version of it? And in my opinion, no, it's not love, because so Yorick loves Hayes. Hayes cannot return his love, like he cannot reciprocate on an equal level. Hayes loves Zinnia, and she has affection for him back, but she's truly in love with Yorick. And the way that the book phrases it makes it seem like you can only be in love with one person, the way that like Zinnia is in love with Yorick. but like, you know, they have conversations about it, and like they're like, it's not faded, like, you know, you can't love me the way I deserve, yada yada. um and so like they're all aware of like giving their affections to like a place where like they can't be fully returned. I do think that Zinnia and Hayes eventually reach a level where they've accepted, like, or at least Zinnia has accepted, like, Hayes is always going to be my friend, and so they do have like a romantic relationship before like the war starts. And then the war starts, and Yorick is constricted into performing work that is pretty much antithetical to like the work he was doing in the bookstore and as like the second class passengers librarian. Like, he had snuck banned books onto the ship, and like he is forced to act as a censor to make sure that like soldiers aren't giving away information about the war that like could be intercepted. And so like letters are just getting blanked out, and like people cannot even have like real genuine conversations with their like people, because they were so like the stakes were so high and so many people were dying that like they just kind of had to do that. And this is also this is all taking place in the city of Paris. But anyway, the end of the story winds up, and I do not agree with the way that the story was resolved. I do think the author gives an attempt at answering those questions, but it was left open-ended. And as a reader, I don't like that. Like, I want a conclusion to be drawn, and I don't want it to be, I guess, okay, I don't like when I am forced into accepting this is not what you should do. Like, you should not try to mimic this story. I guess, like, for me as a reader, that tends to, like, aggravate me. Like, maybe I do think I still benefited from having read this book. I do think it made me grapple with the questions it was asking. I loved, like, Yorick's character. I hated Hayes. I just thought he was kind of, like, a scumbag. Like, he was fine, but, like, maybe not scum, but he just wasn't giving very much, in my opinion. Like, I wanted to know more about Yorick, and I wanted to know more about Zinnia, and I wanted to know more about how their friendship would form and, like, go forward. Because Zinnia also, like, essentially helped Yorick's bookstore become successful. Like, it is directly due to her that, like, his bookstore gains, like, a subscription service, and, like, he gains more, like, customers, essentially. So anyway, it is a good story. I do think I jumped the gun. I'm going to give it a 3.5. I've done a lot of deliberating on this, and I think 3.5. I will not read it again. Like, I'll probably be selling my copy. But I admire a story that makes me reflect, is what I will say. And so I don't think it was worthless. Like, I think they, you know, if this is the type of story you might enjoy, if you like love triangles and, like, the dimensions they add to a story, I do think that this is an enjoyable book. I do think you could still get something out of it. But as far as, like, my reading goes, I don't think I want to stay in this genre. I don't know that romance is really for me, but it was fun to try out something that I wouldn't normally read.